Don't forget to team up, Jimmy, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, sending you the thingy. Okay, we're now live. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, my router decided to reboot itself. Now, why it's doing that lately? Because I did upgrade my service to include TD service, just everything else and all, but I'm not sure why that's been happening lately. I just sent you a team invite. I am now checking my streams. According to my stream, it says it's all healthy. Now we're just waiting on Twitch to connect.
Alright. Let me make sure everything looks good this way.
Right. Yeah, because it said Hitbox and YouTube connected right away. Twitch is being twitchy, taking its time. There it goes. Okay, Twitch is now live. Alright, so we're back. Like I said, sorry about that. Like I said, I upgraded my internet service to include TD service, but for some reason this router, if I do a stream more than like 2 hours to 3 hours, well, my so-called 3-hour streams are never going to happen again because I get about halfway through and the router will just basically shut off and reboot itself. Not sure why. Alright, so bring back up the info. Alright, real quick, as I was starting to say, it's like Aaron said, that he was able to see me on the stream, just and everything else and all, before I finally got disconnected finally. But, if you're looking at this one right here, basically, as I was saying, the, bottleneck kind of walk kind of like hunched like. As you can see here, they're kind of, standing up more. So, if you dealt with the bottlenecks, you know how big and wide they are. As you already saw here in the notes, they're going to be doing a lot of AoE type attacks and AoE attacks. So I have to do AoE attack back broadly. Alright, so on to the next thing.
You'll have to find their weak spots. But yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so what's next?
Um,
Want to talk about the
let's
ship, or do
go
you want to talk
ahead
about
and
the
talk
battle
about
zone?
their ships. They got their ships are they're interesting.
Their ships have some familiar things, too.
Yep. Okay, we designed the Nautilus first, as you saw right there. We designed the Nautilus first, designed the species first, and then they started developing the ships. You get as with their ground force, a fight with them will become easier as you understand the tactics and the capabilities. And they're basically science shit because it says right here, their ships are highly resilient. The strength of the shield is tough to reliable. However, the design without its weakness in order. So we're talking about a lot of science shit that can drain shield.
I don't think that they're necessarily science ships. It's just saying that it's really resilient.
Right. Well, see right here, would not allow such a flaw with their weapon setup to exist in its own and respond to quick with their shit to a familiar modal capacity that more than make up the weapon plan. Wait a minute. That Klingon shit that runs around, that support craft.
Mm-hmm.
Are we saying we're going to have a bunch of support craft?
No, not necessarily. So what you're looking at, so they're talking about the weapons being forward-facing as well as their shields. So we're probably going to have to hit this ship from behind, the same way we would with a Nausicaan battlecruiser. They do.
Yeah,
and so
right
it looks like
and another one right here, close. The next one down. The strength of their telecom results. Ships are able to make the technology more effective when they are in close proximity to each other. So those are going to be staying close to each other to enhance each other's shields and stuff.
They're also forward-facing. You know what else forward-faces its weapons? Escorts.
Yeah,
escorts.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about my Raider. All of my weapons are forward-facing for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you look at it, they're also, and I'm going to go on because they're using the Dot Battleneck. If they designed the shit, now you know the Dot, they have that fluid shield that if you shoot it while it's active, it'll absorb your shield, it'll absorb your weapons ability and send it right back at you. But if you can get behind that, when they're still putting that deflector shieldy thing up to everything else, if you can get behind it and hit their rear end while they've got that deflector thingy up trying to absorb what's in front of them, you can do a lot of damage to them from behind. Oh, this is interesting. Higher ranked ships equipped with long range protonator based weapons. While these weapons can't lock on, ship post launch, they are extremely potent to unaware targets. Additional benefits to the protonator aspect of the weapons. The technology, the explosions leave behind a volatile radioactive cloud. These clouds are extremely dangerous to basically us. However, have adapted their technology to reuse and draw their protonator, thus provide their ships with increased radioactive properties and strength defense capability. Which other ship do we know that like to drop a bunch of gases, and if you pass through, you take a severe damage?
Beside you.
Well, I like my starting. I'm not gonna deny it. I like the platinum dunk on people when I was big on the platinum dunking ability. But the other one I'm talking about is the not the Herosians. You do it that one mission where they dumped all that garbage basically, and Neelix is like they destroyed our planet.
You're thinking about the Malon.
Yeah, Nylons. When you go in there and you start fighting them, if you're behind them and they're dumping their plasma, dumping trash, whatever you want to call it, they're dumping. If you follow behind them trying to get on their six and hit them, that corrosion resistance.
You also end up with a cloud of it when they blow up.
Yep. So that's the same theory. So do you see that? Get off their six. Get off their six.
These guys will be able to heal really well, too, from the way this sounds.
Yeah. And then you got the art direction. Now we're going to go down here. So he's got all these pictures.
Now, these ship designs are really interesting.
Yeah.
They're talking about
the middle. That way you can actually see. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm talking about.
Actually, what I would suggest, Jimmy, is looking at the pictures that are towards the end.
That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the one called the front of the battleship.
Yeah.
Called the front view of the battleship. It's like about halfway down. You got like a wireframe one, and then the one without the wireframe.
Right.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about the wireframe, this is what I'm talking about. They will design something in the wireframe, mold it, twist it, turn it, that basically the gain engine can handle. Because some gain engines can handle, geometry and blah, 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 whatnot. While other ones, if you try to mold it and shape it, the gain engine will yell at you because it just can't handle it. So this is a battleship. This next one is the underside of the battleship. So that's very interesting. And I'm guessing this little white thingy that's on the back here, that's the engine. It has to be, because if you look at the top view, that's the engine. That's where the warp drive basically sits at.
Yep.
That's like a snail, I'm going to say.
Yeah, they said they designed it to look like a shell.
Holy moly, look at the next one, the Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Now, this
reminds me of that one movie, Van Diesel. When he went to that one planet and he had to deal with those creatures that don't chase you in the dark.
You're thinking of the aliens in Pitch Black, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I seen the Pitch Black, You know, you had a set of eyes here and a set of eyes here. But right here is a blind spot. And if you can get right here, they can't see you because their eyes are here and here. They
Yeah,
can't see.
these
This is the
ships
blind
seem
spot
really
for them.
familiar.
And here's the underside of it.
Yeah, these ships seem really, really familiar, especially the Dreadnought. Excuse me.
Then you had the drone.
Yep. And drones are going to be like little fighters. So if we ever get the ability to pilot a Zankethi Dreadnought, these drones are probably going to be a lot like the swarmers.
Yeah.
That we have for our Dyson ship.
Ooh. In fact, they are. One of the last things we did, blah, blah, blah. Because they're so much smaller, they need to be able to read. Hectonode. Like I said, this is some very interesting drawings. And then the next one is the battleship different views.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking at it top, bottom, fore, side, and aft.
And then you get the dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little Tusky drone. And the reason why I'm saying Tusky is because the Tusky, when you do the
I like the last three pictures, the space views of them.
right. I know how to do this. Alright. Close all this out. Go to Zoth. Yeah. Stone in the Spire. That's the mission. Stone in the Spire. You know, when you're doing that, you got these little Tusky drone on the one side, and they're just all over. You can alpha strike them and do whatever whatnot to them, but they just keep respawning like crazy and attacking like crazy. So these probably gonna do the same exact kind of battle scenario. Oh, okay. Sitting in space, dreadnought in space. So you can see that's the engine right there. This is the dreadnought's warp trail. And then the little drone's warp tail. It's a little bigger than a Swarmer though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit bigger.
I would say your drone is probably going to be.
I want to say it's going to be like the carrier pets. They'll launch them like the carrier pets.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they'll definitely launch like carrier pets, but I want to say your drones are probably going to be.
Yeah, you've got the one science ship,
Actually,
ship.
the 31st Century Dreadnought, it's fighters, probably about that size.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know.
These kind of remind me of Jedi starfighters.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So that's basically that. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up to the next one because this is already starting to turn into a 3-hour tour. Going to a 6-hour tour.
First one was 2 hours. This part should be much, much less than that, but we have already spent like 15 minutes on it.
Next one. Well, actually, the final one because we don't have anything else to talk about. Yeah,
for now.
Final one. All right, now this is going to be, as you notice right there, ladies and gentlemen, they've got the new Star Trek Online Reckoning already in the picture. So this is going to be the new battle zone. Now what these are, when you go to these things right here, Days of Doom, Minor Insurrection, and the Battle of this one, these are going to go die. They're going to go down in this list somewhere. And these new battles here, are going to get replaced. This is going to become the new battle zones. And then if you look at the second picture,
Well, no, Jimmy. This isn't the what they're talking about here is not the new STFs that are
STS?
coming. This is the battle zone. So this is right up there with the Undine battle zone and the Badlands battle zone.
Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what Jimmy Jr. is going to do. He's going to be right there, racking up his kill points, racking
Now,
up his desolation
um,
points.
one thing that is important to recognize is
Well,
that
I'm looking
this
at
will
the second
be.
picture.
Well, let's look at the first couple of paragraphs. The first is they actually give us the name of a system that it's going to be in. I don't think this system is in the game right now.
Cross system.
And then it tells you this right here will be really important. First sentence of the second paragraph. This battle zone is a new area for level 60 captains. If you have not yet reached level 60, you will not be able to play this battle zone. But once you're 60, you can.
Yeah, it's like the Badlands. Badlands, you have to be 60 just to go in.
Yeah, unlike the Undine battle zone where I think you're like 50 or 55, something like that.
You know something? Hold on, let me look at the map. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't think they're gonna extend that?
Well, like I said, this system I don't think is in the game yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My
Open up
guess,
the map thing real quick.
my guess is that if they do
Okay,
add sector blocks,
see where the A is? I want to say, now this is just my theory. And they put it down. I'm wondering if they're going to go down instead of the cross.
well, what I'm here. I got two thoughts on that. The first is that they're talking about a system that isn't in the game yet. This can mean one of two things for us. It'll mean either they're going to add new sector blocks and this system will be in it, or they will add these systems into the sector blocks as they already exist, kind of the way they did with K-13 and the Lucari. My guess is that this is probably going to be, if they add new sector blocks, above, because Lucari are still going to encounter them.
Right. Or do
so
you
a little bit
like
like
the Delta Quadrant, where you had to go to the space station or the whatchamacallit thing, just to jump thing. What I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is you know here you got this arrow thingy. To get to here, you have to go to this little Dyson Sphere gateway to jump to here.
I don't think it'll be quite like that, because the Zenkethi, where they live, you remember the Zenkethi were brought up in Deep Space Nine, and this is actually something we haven't talked about yet on the stream. And there are two episodes where the Zenkethi are brought in, and the basically what happens is that the Dominion steal the Defiant to try to get the Zenkethi to start fighting the Federation. Which the Federation doesn't want to have happen. They eventually stop them through the episode, but that's where they.
Let's go back, because they need the runners that Navy, we might have Cardassian state. Navy to get the wormhole to that situation, like right here. Navy, instead of putting the blocks up, well, now because K-13's up here.
Well, like I said, as far as the map goes in the Deep Space Nine universe, the Deep Space Nine was in Beta Quadrant, and the Dominion, so Cardassia, the Dominion, all of that was in the Gamma Quadrant. The wormhole went from Beta to Gamma. Now,
you don't think they're going to bring in the Gamma again?
Probably not. However, like I said, there's one of two things probably going to happen. First thing that might happen is they may add in more sector blocks, kind of like they did when they brought in the Deferi. They'll just throw them in and put them where they need to be. Which my guess is, if they do that, will be right above the sector block that we were in when we were at K-13, because the Lucari have easy access to that sector.
That's basically where K-13 is. It's right here in this little area.
Right. So I'm talking about above that section. Now, the
Yeah.
other possibility is that they will add it to the Alpha Quadrant space that's already there. Just like they did with the Lucari system. You know, the Lucari system hadn't always been there. They added
Yeah.
it in for the purpose of the mission.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
and
because
now it's
originally when
there.
you start the mission, ladies and gentlemen, you're way over here. And then K-13 goes through a wormhole, and then suddenly disappears here and ends up way over here.
Well, it wasn't a wormhole. It was a temporal anomaly.
Yeah, temporal anomaly. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. It got sucked into a temporal anomaly, and the station went from this block right here to way over here in this block, in the dream sector block.
It kind of did a Babylon 4.
Yeah.
Except it showed up in a different place. Well, actually,
Yep,
no. Babylon 4 showed up in a different place, too.
it did.
Because Babylon 4 wasn't where Babylon 5 was, but then all of a sudden it shows up there.
Yep.
But anyway, so if they expanded into that section, those are one of the two ways that I see that going. Now, this is an interesting battle zone. It looks like it's going to have a bunch of neat little bases. It's going to be sector driven, the way that both the Undine and the, because if you look in this second picture here,
Yeah, 'cause
you can
that's what
see
I'm
a,
looking at, that second in this big ring thing. And you've got, it looks like a Romulan
so
ship, another ship.
look over in the kind of in the middle on the right hand side. You can see the beta symbol hovering above something in the distance. Well, that's another one of those sections.
Oh, okay.
um so like it's going to be kind of the way Undine Battle Zone or Badlands Battle Zone is, where there's different areas that you have to work on together to get, and then you'll
Yeah.
have a big push fight of some kind at the end. um
Yeah, because that
and get a
first
whole
picture
lot
really
of,
don't show too much too well.
and
But that
remember that
second one
there's going
shows
to
quite a
be,
bit.
and remember that you're probably going to be able to make a whole bunch of credits off of loot. You're probably going to be able to make a whole bunch of dilithium, and there is an entirely new reputation system coming, and you're probably getting your marks from this battle zone.
Exactly. Because no offense, ladies and gentlemen, yes, you can do the FTF version, but there is a cooldown of about 30 minutes until you can jump and do them again. So they
Actually,
did cover
it
you.
actually tells you, Jimmy, at the end, it tells you where it's going to be. It says the Zankethi Battle Zone is available to level 60 captains of all factions, and it will be accessible from the Alpha Quadrant, which still puts me in the same position where either they're
Yeah,
going to
that's
add
what
a
I'm
sector.
saying, you know. And then if you read those rumors about how if possible Cardassian race is coming out, you don't think, you know. Now this is further down the road, ladies and gentlemen. Um,
I don't think that the rumor of the Cardassian playable faction is got anything to do with it,
well,
because
I'm
the
just kind of
Cardassian
going off on the
playable,
story. Okay,
they've
they go
been
exploring. We
they've
find these two
been
new places, just
rumoring
everything else.
they've been rumoring a playable Cardassian faction for years, though.
Yeah,
Um,
true, true.
so my guess is, like I said, it's going to be one of those two things. Either they're going to add a new sector block for us to go to, or they're going to put this new system somewhere in a sector block that already exists. But either way, it will be in the Alpha Quadrant. They're not making a new quadrant or anything. And I
Right.
don't think it would have anything to do with the Cardassians. Now I see them bringing them in later on, for a playable species, but right now we're focused on the Lucari and fighting the
Yeah.
Zankethi.
Alright, I'm gonna walk to the Thari station and walk back out over there. That way I can look at the map over there. But no, I mean you're right. If they do what they did with the Badlands and the Undine, just everything else and all right, without yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they're gonna put it in on the map. And then we won't know. Now, like I said, it's 2050 something on the turtle side. So I'll be catching my game tomorrow and then be taking a look to see what we've got. All right, now in here, I can take a look at the
Yeah.
map as is.
Yeah, when I checked, there was nothing there. But
So you got D39 down here. This right here is the new, no, I don't want to walk there, go away. Where it's called Badlands right here. That is, you're trying to get the Terran marks or the temporal marks.
yeah,
That's where
so
you
you can
go
still
to
get temporal
them.
there.
And then K13 is right there, that 20, 20 Doratus right there. SK-13 right there.
Yeah.
Radar system.
Rava is Deferis space.
Yeah, cause okay, there's the Lucari system.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just kind of clicking on each one to see if...
Well, you can go to the system list now that you're in that sector. If you want to see if it's in game, you can look for the way that it's spelled, but I guarantee you it's not in here yet.
Nah, because I don't see it.
So from here, if you go to system list, let's see, how do they spell that? So it was GON''CRA. And if I go down to the G's, the only thing is Goralis, and that's not the same system. So, like I said, it's not here yet.
Yeah, like I said, I do wonder. Because you got the Deadlands here. You know, how they're going to put it in and activate it.
Right. Like I said, if you're looking at your map, if you're looking at your area map, it is either going to go in here above where the Breen, Rava, Ferenginar, Denobula, and Tellar sectors are.
Yeah.
It'll go up there somewhere, probably.
Right.
Or it'll go into... Actually, wait a minute. No. Here's where it'll go. Okay, so right below the Ferenginar sector, do you see that?
Yeah.
There is a system. This sector right below Ferenginar is called the Zenketh sector. There is a Zenketh system, which is down a little lower. My guess is if it shows up in an existing sector, it'll be that one.
Yeah, you're right. It would.
The other thing that this kind of puts them in place for is this Zenketh sector, kind of the same way that the because remember that the Iconians are in the Iconia sector.
Yeah.
The Zenketh sector here is right below the Ferenginar sector, which is where the Lucari are.
Yep, the Lucari is right here. Right there,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
So my guess is this Zenketh sector is where you're going to see your new battle zone.
I ain't gonna go because there is a planet there, so I ain't gonna fly there.
Yeah.
See if there's a nebula or something there.
There's definitely a system there. There's 3 systems in that sector right now. And one of them is Zenketh, which I'm assuming is the home of the Zenkethi.
What the names of the other ones? Let me go.
The other ones are Aurelius, which we actually go to in a mission. And Nakul, actually. It's just south of the Nakul system.
Okay.
And remember, Nakul's system they added in too. This is one that wasn't always here, but they added it in once we started dealing with the Lucari and all that future-proof stuff. So we're talking about possibly having this other faction come in here.
There's a sun here.
And there is also another possibility that I hadn't thought of before now, and that remember how I was mentioning
I found it.
Yeah, I'm sitting outside of it. Remember how I was...
Unknown nebula over here. What's this?
If it says unknown nebula, it's just one of those things that you can scan for, like, crafting supplies.
It is? Mm-hmm. Not kicking in. Now, there it goes. I added these right on top of that.
Yeah, you gotta be really close. But,
yeah, as soon as I saw this, ladies and gentlemen, I was like, okay, there it is. That's what that'll zoom's gonna do.
I do have a theory, though.
Okay.
You know how, like, when we were dealing with, when we got the Kabali front, when we were in the Delta Quadrant, we were fighting the Vodwar. Right. And we ended up finding out that the Vodwar were controlling the Voth to a degree. They were controlling the Vodwar. The Iconians were controlling the Vodwar, trying to start fights with the Voth. So, like, all those little races that we've ended up coming into contact with were being led by the Iconians or directed by the Iconians.
Right.
My guess is that somebody is pulling someone's strings here. So either the Nakul are getting the Zenkethi involved, or remember, we still have Admiral Lita floating around out there somewhere.
Yeah.
We did get rid of what's his name, um, the guy who was helping the Nakul, the Krenim guy. I forget his name.
I have bad idea. Bad idea,
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. So we got rid of him,
Yeah.
but Admiral Annoying's still out there. The Nakul are sorta still out there, but not really.
Right.
Um, and then the Vorgons, they're still out there.
Yeah.
So my guess is that somebody is controlling all of those people's strings. Possibly
Yeah, I
Admiral
kind of
Lita.
have an idea because you do that one mission, that idea wife, who said that she's going to take care of everything like that all, and she's, controlling that kind of situation. I would
Well,
not be surprised to find out that she's somehow controlling
well,
them as well.
Claudia is dead.
Yeah, didn't her race like take over, and that's
Her
when you do
race
the one
became
mission?
her race became the Sphere Builders.
Yeah, the
But
still
the
builders. Thank you.
Sphere Builders were being controlled by the Krenim guy and Admiral Lita.
Oh, okay.
But Admiral Lita was also being led on by the Krenim guy. My guess is that all of those people are being controlled by someone else.
You're not gonna think, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I hate dealing with time paradox. I can see a time paradox developing right now.
Possibly.
You know.
But they've used storylines like this all the time in Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
When we were dealing with the Hirogen and the Romulans, people were pulling their strings. The
Yeah.
Iconians were behind a lot of stuff, but
Right.
my guess is that
Oh, wait a minute. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, I just completed that mission yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. So my one officer, my Delta 2, and it's now finally 60. She's now finally finished all the storylines. But I just finished that Iconium storyline where I handed that on that glow, that world, whatever it was, to what's her name? What's his name? Said, no, I don't care. I will still fight you and I still hate you all. And then he like disappears off their ship.
you're thinking about oh damn it, what's his name?
The guy that glows red.
Well, he's not a guy because all of the Iconians are female. Um,
Oh, I thought it was a guy. Well, then never mind. I take it back.
all of the Iconians are female. But I know the one you mean.
The one
He's
that's
the one
red
who,
without the arm.
yes, the one who Kayla's cut her arm off of.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, she takes off and says, "I will
she
still hate you
is
all."
she
Just
is
everything
still
else.
out there. I don't know necessarily that she would be brewing that kind of trouble,
She said she's
because
going to. Remember, when you finish it, she actually says that I do not care. I will still fight you all, and I do not go to this. And the other one that we hand the glow to, the world glow to, she surrendered and says, "Okay, thank you. I'll stand
well, she
down."
also says that we may be able to be friends in the future, but give them time,
Yeah.
and we sort of leave them alone. Here's why I don't think that particular Iconian is involved.
Okay.
Well, that's not
Maybe.
true.
Not he still pulling those strings, even still
Could be pulling strings because the people that we're dealing with can do something that the Iconians can't, and that is
Okay.
travel in time. Because
Right.
remember, the Iconians can't travel in time because if they go back, then their new timeline will form in their memory, and the old timeline will no longer exist.
Right.
If our characters went forward or backward in time, they would remember. Um,
Right.
so they can't travel through time. Now, they could be pulling the strings of someone who can. But I don't think we're dealing with Iconians here. I think we're
Okay.
dealing with something else.
Could
It could
be.
be really interesting to see where they go with it. I don't know who would be pulling these people's strings quite yet. I've got some ideas kicking around, but we have to see the new content to get clues
Well, the
because there are
next
always
idea.
little clues.
I mean, you did the one mission on the Cardassian, the Jewel one. They actually say in the one day Jewel that they talked to everything else. When you go to the newer version day Jewel, for some reason they was all hiding. For some reason, but when you show up, got their prophecy, their card, this, that, and all, they come out of hiding just to talk to you. But then they disappear after you leave.
Right. So there's a possibility that the Emperor on the Mirror Universe side, whoever that person may be,
Yeah.
is controlling things.
Yeah.
It could be that Lita has more control than we think. I don't think that's what's happening, but because she
Well,
didn't
she
have
says on
any.
that one strain, nine strings on the future does not know what they're dealing with. But I will
Right.
show
Well,
them if they challenge me.
here's the thing though, is she didn't get power until her friends from the future, namely the Iconians, not the Iconians, the Krenim
Yeah, gotta
guy
be
and the
that.
Vorgons come back and they help her, the Nakul help her. So you have all these species that are helping her out. She didn't get power until Krenim guy gave her designs for the Odyssey.
Right, exactly.
um,
And then she comes back saying, I'm Admiral Lita, and I'm like, yeah, you're Admiral Knowing, and I blow her out of that land area. I blow her up every single time I get her.
yeah. So I don't think Lita has that much control. I think her strings are being pulled too.
Right.
Um, Kind of the way that Sila's strings were being pulled. Like you have all this stuff that's dealing with Sila when we're doing the Iconian stuff,
Right.
and she has this very set, very specific way that she thinks things are going to happen. She wants to take vengeance for the destruction of Romulus,
Right.
but then realizes that she's one who caused it.
Oh,
So you could have Lita along the same sort of lines. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have to like team up with her later. Um,
oh yeah.
but there's definitely more to it. We need to look when we're playing the Zenkethi stuff when it comes out for
Oh,
clues.
no way. This is a new posting.
What's a new posting?
I'm gonna send it to Discord. Take a
Sure.
look at it. Tell me what you think before we mention anything. I'm
Okay.
actually on the storm, checking out the storms. Cause I'm not gonna slide it over until you. Cause I see. And you
Hang on a minute.
see. All I'm gonna say is you see it's a K-13.
Holy crap!
Yeah. Should I show it?
No, don't show it yet. Let me check something.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what
Uh,
I'm doing, like I said, there is a, it's called the Turtle Tester Storm, where you can basically record errors and bugs and whatever issues with everything else. And someone's actually posted the new NAT guide. Currently, he's basically saying something about how, oh, he's not saying anything. He's just showing, it's just the new NAT area.
uh, that kind of looks like what we were talking about a little bit, but it looks like they're rearranging things some.
Yes, because you can see the guy, you can see K-13. You see the green, the Thari area. In fact, I am going to open up mine after right now. Just going to compare. Go to Galaxy Map.
Yeah, the Ferenginar system would move, it looks like, according to this. Give me a second. I'm popping into Tribble right now.
Alright. So Aaron's going to jump over to Tribble. Apparently, the turtle is attacked now. It must be active now because there's people. Like I said, I go with called the turtle thorn bug report. It's the server or thorn page I'm on, and the idea is that you find bugs, you find problems. Like let's say you try to go to your ship, and for some reason you see the bridge of your ship, and you fall through because it starts to be a bridge battle type, and instead of you leaning into your bridge, you fall through, and you're falling through space to die. Other kind of bugs it could be is you try to like lean into a planet, do a planet battle, then instead you like lean halfway in a rock or you lean halfway into some mountain or something, just everything else, and you can't do nothing. The idea is you take a picture of this and say, hey, this is the bug I'm doing. I'll start to lean down to this planet. Then instead, here I am. I'm stuck inside. You see my arm outside to one side of the rock. Then my other half body's inside. All you see is my arm and leg. And you record these bug issues, and it helps critic. Okay, we got to move that rock over more. We got to move that mountain over a little more when they lean into that spot. The people are already posting and reporting, what's going on basically on the turtle things and recording the bugs already. How you doing, Aaron? You already over there yet?
We're loading.
Yeah. Because like I said...
Sorry, I was also reading through the forums while I'm,
Yeah, because you can see, especially in the one picture I showed you, he's sitting above the new battleland area, or the new battle zone area. He's right above that. And there's quite a few people already. Like right here, I should, Delta Quadrant, blah, blah, blah. Utilizing transport gate to get there. I've always had a sneaky suspicion. Then he talks about the light of Kanazi. That was the new title technology. We have the new bad guy.
Alright, triple... Alright, cross your fingers, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright. Oh, there's a lot of posting already.
If this is accurate, then it means I'm right. About part of it, anyway.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but part of it. Because if it's accurate, then that means that battle zone is not where I thought it was going to be.
No, if you look at that one picture I showed you, he is literally parked right above the battle zone area, and made the comment about it. Is this correct?
Yeah.
He is literally sitting on top of above it. Like there's another one. Now there's 11 pages. So this thing is literally being extended as we talk. Because there's 11 pages now.
Tribble is loading still. It's taking a second.
Well,
my guess is...
Everybody's probably jumping on and...
Yeah, that's my guess.
Oh, not these slides. How many people are actually on there trying to look at it, try out the stuff, and try the new stuff out.
You said that just posted?
Yeah, just posted. Yeah.
Let me take a look at
just posted an hour ago. So it's now 11 o'clock nighttime. So this was just posted about an hour ago.
Hopefully we don't crash Tribble with everybody trying to get there.
Right.
This was posted... Oh, this wasn't posted an hour ago, Jimmy.
It's saying December.
Yeah, it's January, Jimmy.
Oh,
this was posted last month.
Wait a minute. If this was posted back then, you mean they had this in the game all this time and they only brought Turtle back today?
That depends entirely on whether that's accurate.
Or could this be the other one, the red shirt one?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been in red shirt in a while.
Yeah, because I know red shirt was originally, because ladies and gentlemen, red shirt was the original, like the data test inside. You wanted to data test the game, try out the game.
Son of a bitch.
Shirt. And then they brought out Turtle,
Jimmy.
and Turtle became the new test server while everything went to holodeck.
Oh, Jimmy, 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 Jimmy.
You're finally in.
Uh huh.
You're not allowed to show the picture now.
Uh.
Yes,
Uh.
no, lady, never. Show it anyway.
Go ahead and show it. You're gonna
Alright,
want to
ladies and
come in
gentlemen.
here.
Okay, Asgore, can I move this over a little bit? Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shrink it down.
Holy crap! There's a mirror universe symbol smack dab in the middle of this map.
Really?
Uh huh.
Interesting.
Right over. It sort of hovers over like the tip of the. You know what the mirror universe
Symbol,
symbol looks
yeah.
like? It's the sword with the Earth. The tip of the sword is in the Badlands. The handle of the sword is in the Defera sector, and then the globe is between Defera and Zenketh.
Okay.
I need to get my tune into that sector block. Give me a minute.
Alright.
Transwarp's on cooldown. I have to go there the hard way. That's okay, because this ship is carrying the temporal gear from when we tested the last thing. So my sector space travel is super fast.
Open. So as Aaron was saying, yes, I'm sitting here. We thought it would be here. The K-13 is up here by the A, but all this that you see in the red, that is all the new area. And if you notice this right here, that's the new Battlelands area right here. Look at this guy sitting there and he took his picture of. That's the new Battleland area.
Interesting.
So there's that. So that way we can actually see those pictures on both sides. Alright, I'm going to jump over. That way we can take a look at see what else is new in there. Oh no, I can't because I got to patch. I got to patch it.
You've got to patch it, yeah.
So there's that.
I need to see something. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is I am going to hightail it over to the next sector block, which is I'm practically on the border, so shouldn't be too hard. Luckily, I upgraded this ship because we were doing on this tune. We were doing the testing for the temporal agent. He has all the maxed out temporal agent gear on it, which means he can travel very fast in sector space.
In fact, I am going to see if there's any.
In fact, I just got an accolade. I just got an accolade for entering the Alpha Quadrant. Kumark's Log Aurelius. So it just gave me an accolade for something that's related to Kumark, who is the captain of the Lucari ship. Alright,
here's the only thing I could find. Send it over to Discord.
I'm gonna go to Zen. There's a starbase in there. On your map, is there a starbase 621?
Let me go back to it.
Oh, here's the triple patch notes. Okay, I see.
Pages already.
Yeah, the Zenkethi battle zone is active in here, Jimmy.
Yeah, and I just shared the patch notes with you.
Mm-hmm.
To the turtle test server. You see him, but I can't click on anything else. If you look at the screen, and can I share this?
There's a starbase 621, and it's in the Zenketh sector. I just passed over it. It doesn't seem to be active, though.
Okay, yeah, you can. There, I just shared the close-up of it in Discord. Because you can zoom in on it.
In your map, in the game, in the
Oh, you
holodeck
mean the
server.
other one.
Yeah, the actual map in holodeck. Is there a starbase 621 in the Zenketh sector?
Zen. Let me go the other way. 621, you say?
Yeah.
I see a 13. I see a 20. I don't see a 6.
Okay, so that starbase might be new.
3.
There's an unexplored system in the Maxia sector that might be Lucari.
Okay, I see an SRT 5193. And that's it. I'm down into the Z's.
Has this one done... No, she hasn't. She hasn't done Echoes of Light, which means Lucari is still covered up. So Lucari is moved out of the Ferenginar system into that Maxia sector.
Okay.
And then, as I'm looking around, here is an image for K13. K13 hasn't moved.
Yeah, because today's notes is...
Wait, no. Draconis sector is now above the Breen sector. So, yeah, it's still in 20 Draconis.
Yeah.
Balinkar system, Ferenginar, Mivik, Hurazani, Argus, Omega. There's Saria. Delta system. Ada Serpentinus, Viserius. Isn't the Viserius system the Tholians? Tholians, isn't it Tholian space?
Yeah, no.
That sounds familiar. I want to try and look that up. Viserius system. I may have spelled that wrong. Yes, I did spell it wrong. Alright. Oh, that's why that sounds familiar.
Okay.
The Viserius was the name of that ship from the original series, commanded by Commander Baylock, the guy who had who was the little kid, and then had the Tranya. Yeah, that's the name of the ship.
Right.
I wonder if we get to meet them. That would be cool.
Yeah, what the... And you gotta think it, they did make the comment, I forget where I read it, they made the comment that if you have a TOS character and you're trying to, you're still working on it. Because if you go to your TOS characters, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna do the over this way. In fact, that gave me another idea. I'm gonna go to my TOS character too.
Think about it though. That would be... The Viserius system, if that is where the first Federation people came from, where Commander Baylock, because that was the Korba maneuver, that was the name of the episode.
Right.
If the Viserius system is where they're from, you had that red shirt in that episode go with them to do an exchange culture kind of a thing.
Right.
But you never heard anything about it after that.
No.
So it could be kind of cool to meet them, because that would be a very TOS episode sort of thing to do. And that does give us a possibility for someone else to be pulling somebody's strings.
Yeah, because I don't know my TOS character.
It would be kind of sad to see them be bad guys, but it could...
Now, you don't think we'll get a Tental Throat dealing? You don't think?
No, because that's the kind of thing that we get when we have a new specialty character to play, like the Delta Tune or the Temporal Agent.
Out. You're on a TOS character, and you're like role-playing TOS character, and you want to see some more TOS item, TOS, backed in type stuff with everything else and all. And that's going to
Well, I
knock.
mean, all of your characters are going to be able to play this storyline.
Oh,
The
okay.
TOS characters might get some extra insight or
Yeah, like
maybe
that
some
one
extra
hey
dialogue or
ho
something.
thing.
Here's the system, and here's the nebula. That's where here's the system that the Pharasians are from.
Right,
Um, here's K13, which I can't enter yet because I haven't found it.
right.
Um, all right, Jimmy, I need to step away from the computer for a second. I'll be right back.
Alright. Now, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be interesting how this plays out. Yes, everybody's going to be able to play it. I do wonder, because from the TOS character type point of view, because I'm still working on her, trying to get her done, get her leveled up, and get everything completed. I'm going to be seeing some more accolades, basically. The TOS people who's on a TOS character. Um, we're still kind of doing the K13 type stuff until like working on K13. And as you can see there, we're slowly getting there, slowly. With everything else at all. But I do wonder where this is going. I do wonder. And as you can see, all up here, where all these new missions are going to be going up here.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
All right, so I'm looking at the systems here. Um, there's definitely some interesting stuff here. I think we have the possibility for, and they're expanding the map. So I think we have the possibility for some cool stuff.
Right.
And this again goes back to all those people who would say that Star Trek's dying, that there's nothing new there's nothing new happening. There's stuff happening all the time.
Exactly.
And as far as your comment about the like the temporal probe sort of a thing, we're done with the temporal agent thing. Now I can see them adding another character the way that they did with the Delta Tune or the Temporal Agent, where we have a specialty thing and we can play it, because that would be very cool.
In that case, then you gotta make sure you get the slot setting, because I got tired in the play with.
I have one slot open, and I have characters that I can delete if I want to,
Right.
or I can buy more slots.
Right.
Either way.
Yeah, because one way to get on that, do you want to like add in with everything else? Go to the store, go down to services. There, character slot, four of them right there, the 1065. They'll give you four of them. And then there's another one that only gives you like two.
Now you said Days of Doom was on the holodeck server.
Yeah, look on there. Yeah, that's the other thing. Up on top, you should have the three little, what's in the call thing? Days of Doom, Nitrogen Serenities, and the Battle of Trogdey, whatever it's called. That should be getting replaced with the new one.
Yeah, Days of Doom is the only one that's actually here right now.
Huh.
But that's not surprising, because we didn't have. Because remember when we were testing temporal stuff, they took some of these out because they weren't working right.
Exactly. And then some of the others, yeah, you see, some of the others are there, just don't replace them anymore.
Right. And because this character isn't all the way through the future proof tab, I can't go into New Frontier and do Echoes of Light and see if anything is coming after it.
Right.
Um.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If the character's not high enough, If you look at the screen now that you see, ladies and gentlemen, because I am so close to 60, all of them are showing that if you're like level 10, level 20, whatever, this, that, and all, a lot of these you will not see because you're not high enough to see those yet and to do those.
There is another possibility that hadn't occurred to me until now.
What?
Well, you remember how, what was it called? There it is. Was that future proof? No, that wasn't future proof.
Yeah, the one that you're talking about, the Cardassian one, where you gotta go and deal with the Deep Space Nine other one.
No, I'm talking about yesterday's war.
Okay.
You remember how it jumped based on your level?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like this one, she still has to do it. And yesterday's war is still... Where did I do it? Yeah, there it is. It's the next one. Right after Cardassian. Yeah, it's the next one. Because I took out the Dorgon conclusion till today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and...
Which is level 33, but I'm now 56 now. I just hadn't done it yet because I was going to wait till the end until I got everybody else leveled up.
Right. How far did we get? Do I have to go through and skip anything?
Should be able to.
Give me a minute. I'm trying to just see what this... Because we did skip a bunch of stuff, but...
Right. Yeah, 'cause I had just finished the Cardassian storyline with her. I skipped that alteration again. I just...
Yeah, it's not going to let me unless I go through and at least do the opening one for each of these.
Yeah.
So far, it looks like the map is the only thing different, though.
Yeah, because when I clicked on the turtle test server, that's the only thing that got added.
Let me fly up.
And the new battle zone.
Let me fly up to the battle zone and see if...
That's what it says here.
See if it's active.
Yeah. A UI adjustment and the new battle zone was added. And then, like I said, someone's showing the picture of the new
Holy shit.
map.
I just got another accolade. Jimmy. I just got an accolade for passing through this sector of space, and it's talking about the First Federation. You know, the same thing we were just talking about with the Fesarius.
Oh. Interesting accolade.
We might actually encounter them. These are exploration accolades. You know, kind of like when we would first go into like the regular
Stock
sector
would basically
block.
say, yes, you would enter such and such, and Stock would say something.
Yes, just like that.
In fact, when you went in, did Stock say anything, or?
No, well, he couldn't have. They didn't know. They didn't know they were doing this, Jimmy.
Oh yeah. I think it's somehow they would somehow get his voice to kick in somehow.
No, but it does give the same sort of exploration accolade. Now, I am.
And you got to go to the upper corner, like instead of where K13 is, you got to go up in that upper corner.
Yeah, I see it. I see where it's supposed to be,
right?
But nothing's kicking it, so I don't think it's actually here.
Oh, the only other thing is how high is that character?
60.
50?
60.
Oh,
we maxed him out.
So they don't have it unlocked because it's touch of the 60 online. Oh, you know what else we need to do? We need to fly over to, where's that one station to, see if they have any outfit to claim. Because remember, they said there's a new reputation. That station there?
Let me check the reputation system, too.
Yeah, because they said there's a new reputation, and we'll be getting that new weapon set.
Here it is. No, the reputation system's not in here yet, but the battle zone is. I found it. It's not the nebula, but the actual planet, the actual Gonker system.
Okay.
So I just entered the battle zone.
How many people are there lagging at?
Oh, look, it's Rodek.
Are you serious? So he's the one getting the
He's given the
um.
he's given the orders. It looks like there's three types of things: a tug of war, king of the hill, and blockade. And he's explaining each of them. The map is divided up into sections, just like we were talking about.
Right.
Um,
Probably a section of thought like all the others.
it also looks like there's no one else in here, so I'm pretty sure I'll be owned if I try to actually do this.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be touching this as I'm out taking care of things. Just that all the will be touching this, just everything else. That way we can take a look at this tomorrow and go exploring tomorrow on the turtle side.
All right. Well, we'll have to do that after Hearts and Minds, though, because we want to make sure we give this all the time.
Yeah,
All
like I
the,
said, this character, because she's Tolkien. I'm curious if they say anything extra.
remember, they might also add some new stuff because they're always updating this stuff. So
Yeah.
we need to start keeping an eye on the triple patch notes again, though.
Well, like I said, the only thing it said was a UI adjustment, so I'm not sure what the UI is. I'm guessing that's a HUD adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all it says, UI adjustment and
Let's
Battle
see.
Zone added.
Well, I don't see. Nothing's really happening here, and it's probably because there's no one in it. But
No, because probably, like I said, they just updated it today. And according to this, like I said, it's saying December for some reason. So I'm guessing they had this showing back the last time when Turtle was up.
Rodek's flying an interesting ship.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna go to
style ship?
I'm gonna go to where the first Feder. I'm gonna go to the Phasarius sector.
Okay.
I want to see this, and then I'm gonna go look at Farasa, because that's where the
Okay.
Farasan Klingon side kitty cat characters come from.
Right. Then again, you don't think they're going to be doing. Now, as you know, when the game first got started, ladies and gentlemen, they had a lot of J.J. Abraham version in here just that now when the game first came out. You don't think they're going to be kind of like putting some of the other Star Trek stuff back in?
What do you mean?
Well, like that Klingon ship, when we're doing the still builders, they actually went into what's in the call and got the other Klingons from the JJ version Star Trek to come fight us.
Well, they do stuff like that all the time. In fact, usually when they bring in new content, the new content encompasses stuff from multiple shows or movies.
Wait. This might be a perfect timing for the new Star Trek Discovery show. And the new Discovery show, they did say that it's not going to be, it's not going to be after the card, it's not going to be after. No, it is supposed to be the Thor James Kirk area time.
Well, I don't think we'll see anything like that in game until after the show's been established.
Yeah, the Ranger show supposed to go, come out like March or something?
Yeah, something like that. But,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think we're getting anything that soon.
Delayed the Star Trek Discovery show.
Alright, well, there's nothing interesting in the Phasarius sector for now. But I don't think they're going out that far. At least not in game, not yet.
Somehow incorporating it somehow. They'd seen.
Oh, they probably will. Yeah. But like I said, when they bring in new content for us, Kumark's log, Saurius serpentinus. Okay, so that's another exploration one. When they bring out new content, they usually bring out new content and have it cross over shows. Like when we were doing Future Proof, we had a little bit from Enterprise, we had a little bit from Next Gen, we had a little bit from Deep Space Nine. We had a lot of TOS.
So got to meet the other Klingons.
And then we had the Kelvin timeline brought in for the first time. So they're always
the JJ timeline. Now it's Kelvin.
It never had an official name before now, but yeah, it's the Kelvin timeline.
The JJ and Lucy version timeline.
But yeah, they always incorporate things from multiple shows, so we're probably going to see pretty much the same thing. We're going to see a mix of probably from the, well, we already know we're going to see some TOS. We already know we're going to see some Deep Space Nine just based on what they've shown us.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about things like the Fisarius sector. They're talking about the Zenkethi. They're talking about K-13, and K-13 is TOS. They're talking about, all kinds of things. So, and looking at this map, even the Delta sector here, the Delta sector,
In fact, when
if
you're looking at that map, you know how this map has got like a little tiny block, and then where a soul system, this everything else, it's like a gigantic rectangle. Do they actually naturally where now they look like a square?
no, they're not lined up evenly with each other. The
Okay.
map has, if I look at the galaxy map real quick, hang on.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I thought about. And they
If you
somehow
look,
filled in, so it's
if you look at the sector block that says Soria sector,
right.
that is right in line with the Eridan belt. So the Deneb sector and the Earth and Sol system are right next to each other. The Tanibia sector is right next to Tellar, and that's on the current map.
Right.
And then right above that is a Ponor sector, which is right next to Hobus, and next to that is Saria. And then there's two system blocks that go above that sector. So it's kind of off center.
Right.
Like right now, I'm in the
up.
like
So
right
there's
now
three
I'm in
extra
the
rows. 1, 2, 3.
like right now I'm in the Delta sector, and if I remember correctly, the Delta sector is there it is, Delta 4. You remember Delta 4?
Yeah, I know the Delta Tour.
Do you remember where it comes from?
If I remember correctly, wouldn't that where the extra cracked emissions and stuff got done from?
No.
You thought they took it out?
No, you're thinking of Memory Alpha. Um, Delta 4 was in a movie. It was in the motion. Well, it wasn't in the movie. It was mentioned in the movie. It was in the motion picture. You remember Lieutenant Ilea?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah,
She was Deltan.
yeah,
She came from Delta 4. She knew Decker from when Decker was stationed on Delta 4
right.
because she was asking him why he left.
Yeah, interesting.
Delta 4 is here on the map. I am sitting directly in front of it.
Okay. I said, well, I need to get this game patched. So now, if you look in the stream, alternate your galaxy, not that way we can compare notes.
Yep. Let me pull the stream up here. Come on, stream, catch up. Okay, so
You over just a little bit.
where you're, yeah, just drop that out. Okay,
That's about the
so
best I can get.
looking at the map where you are,
Right.
you can see how the sector block that's on the top right corner of the Alpha Quadrant,
Okay.
which is the probably the Tellar sector. Is that what it is?
The one on that? Yeah.
Okay. Soria sector is directly above Tellar. Right above that is Delta, and then right above that is Pharasa. So if you're looking at the two maps, Alpha Quadrant is two sector blocks above Beta. So this sector on the bottom here, where the Klingon space is, there's 2 empty space blocks next to that.
Okay.
And then next to the Alpha Quadrant, above where like Hobus and all that is, there's 2 empty spots of the right there. So Alpha and Beta are off center from one another,
Right.
which kind of makes sense in a way, because the way that this is lined up, because remember that we're not looking at a square galaxy, we're looking at a round galaxy. So this space here is closer to your, like, if you were looking at Elite Dangerous, it's closer to Sagittarius A.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
remember,
that
in
space
this,
where that big yellow hole is, ladies and gentlemen. This is technically Sagittarius A, the black hole. Right?
well, actually, no, that big hole there is a lot of stars.
Okay.
Sagittarius
Well,
A
that's
is
what I always
part
thought.
of
It's
that.
basically Sagittarius A, the center of our galaxy.
Well, Sagittarius A is not that whole hole, though. It's just a
Okay.
small speck in that hole. But hang on, let me mute the stream. I don't know why that came unmuted.
I don't know why.
There we go. Okay, but anyways, it kind of makes sense. And remember, in the Star Trek universe, do you remember what's there?
Well, I'm not sure.
Star
Yeah.
Trek 5.
Oh, okay.
So, Star Trek 5, you have a barrier that's in the center of the galaxy, and nobody knows what's on the other side of that barrier. Spock's brother, Sybok, or half-brother Sybok, I should say,
Yeah.
is convinced that the Vulcan version of heaven is on the other side, and that every species is thinking about the same thing, but they just call it something different. And then it has that big thing trying to convince everybody that it's God.
Yeah. And then Spock's brother said how, and Klingon is this, Romulan is this, and Earth Terran, it's this, and
Yeah. So for us, it's actually Eden. They used Eden instead of heaven.
yeah.
And then they used Shakari, which is the Vulcan version. The Klingon one, I don't remember because it's hard to pronounce.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. It's Klingon that it's hard to pronounce.
The Romulan one was
They
also
said
kind of
I
hard
think
to
one more
pronounce.
others.
Yeah, there was a Romulan one, and that one was kind of hard to pronounce too. But the center of that galaxy, there's stuff there. But excuse me. So it kind of makes sense the way that wraps around. But this is very interesting. I also like the addition of the Terran Empire symbol in the middle there.
Right.
Cardassian sector, Breen sector's got a symbol there.
Yeah, because all I'm seeing on my end, I see the Breen symbol, and I see the Federation of Planets symbol. You know?
So above the Breen sector on your map,
Yeah,
right now is nothing.
exactly. I'm just sitting there, you know, facing
Now,
K13 again.
right now, K13 is in the Breen sector. It's in a system called 20 Draconis. In the new map, the Draconis sector is its own sector block, and that's where K13 is.
Yeah, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one thing I did get a kick out of, if you look over, you've got the Green, the Dedion, or Radion. So here they renamed this one here. The Frangenon.
They renamed a couple of them.
It, and they moved the Frangenon up.
They renamed a couple of them.
I just see those. Which other one did they rename?
Well, they had here. I need to see that picture a little closer. Hang on a minute. Let me look at it in Discord.
I've got it on Discord. If you click on that
Yeah.
last one, it'll open up that little map location of the PNG file for it.
Oh, I see what they did. Yeah, that's the only one that they renamed. They didn't rename it. They just put a sector
moved
there
the
where
Ferenginar
Ferenginar
up
was and then
one.
moved it up. What this map here is they basically took the brain sector and they copy pasted it so that they
Yeah.
could rename everything in the picture.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so that map that you're seeing is not true to form to what the map actually looks like. So you'll be able to show it off better tomorrow when you get that patch and you get into it, and we can show everybody.
Okay.
So I would say tomorrow, let's plan on getting hearts and minds out of the way real quick, show that to everyone, and then get
Yeah,
our
because
butts into
especially with
Tribble
you and
here.
they, yeah, it's not going to even take 20 minutes because we know where to set up, what to do, what to expect. For people who've never seen it before, it's going to be a good story. But you veterans who've done it a million times, you know where to set up and you know what to do to get through it fast.
Right. And then we can come here. I mean, there's not really a lot of things going on here in this section.
Right.
The names of things have changed. The new map is here. The battle zone is here.
Yeah, but that's the
Um,
only thing it says on the path notes.
right.
Um,
Something I
just
will
the
want to
path
work on
notes.
tomorrow.
Yeah, there it
Before
is. Just the
we,
path notes. The one right above the map. Resolved an issue where players could not lead the Tucky on that. Well, wait a minute.
no, you're looking at the regular patch notes. You need to look at the triple
Yeah,
patch
that's what I'm
notes.
looking at. Triddle has been updated to ST712070108.3. And now it's posted 6:23 p.m. just now. Or 5 hours ago. Yeah, 5 hours ago. So I'm gonna go back to the Triddle test server.
So what I would suggest we do is tomorrow after we do hearts and minds,
Fact,
but
there's
before
two
we
of them.
start,
What's this one?
you hear me, Jimmy?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I need you to actually listen to me.
No,
Here's
I'm
what
not listening. Yeah, I
what
want to
we
share this real with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually have more info. Take a look, real quick look at this. I'm going to expand this little sucker. And I'm going to leave it on Discord. That way I can pull it off the Discord. Wait, Discord posted January 11th, though.
that was yesterday.
Yeah, and right there, the more info about the battle, which is this one right here, ladies and gentlemen. That's the battle. No, that's not the battle zone. That's the reckoning one. Result in issue, causing problem. General, reaching little tide. Systems, here we go. Resolved an issue titled, blah, blah, blah. Updated Romulan. Romulan's got an update? No way. Standardized working power. Alright, so that's kind of interesting to see. So they basically added the battle zone, and that's the only patch notes, unfortunately. Because the next one's December, and that's too old.
Right. The January 11th, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
So we need to keep a close eye on the triple patch notes. What I'm going to suggest we do is tomorrow, when we go in, we'll play Hearts and Minds real quick, get it out of the way.
Yep.
Once we're done, we'll stop streaming. I want to go in and I want to get my character to the point where Lucari shows up and we can go to K13. So basically, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to skip a bunch of missions by hailing the first contact and then
Right.
try to skip through everything. So I may have to do some bouncing around, and I think you'll probably have to do the same thing. Because otherwise, we won't be able to see Lucari, much less go there.
Now, my one
Um,
character's maxed out. My one character, I made sure it was all
well,
done.
they're
But I have
they're
that other
at
character I need.
they're at 60, but they didn't do all the missions. We
Okay.
basically got them up far enough so that we could do the new content and then stopped.
Right.
So I would suggest we go in and do it like that. I would suggest we go in, once we get hearts and minds out of the way, we try to get our captains to the point where we can actually do the Lucari mission and get up to where this new stuff's supposed to come in. So once
Right.
it is playable, we can actually play it. And then we can show everybody the map,
Yeah,
where
just to
things
be on the
are.
safe side, I mean, your Triddle, or, your one character's got all that top of the line temporal stuff on. And to get
Yes.
to that, I'll just transfer Jenny Jr. over.
Well, I mean, your character on this side should also have top of the
Yeah, 'cause I
line.
know ours. We did all the turtle stuff or the temporal stuff.
We basically cheated. Uh,
Yes, we did. But they added new stuff, and I think they did it the challenge a little bit.
yeah. But yeah, he's wearing he has the temporal gear on. He's his ship is decked out with temporal stuff.
Right.
Um, so I mean, that's another thing is when we go in tomorrow and we start exploring, we should also hit up Drazana Station and see if they have
Yeah, that's
anything
why I was
there.
saying that. Yeah, I couldn't remember the station's name, but they're putting this rotation system in, just everything else and all.
Like I said, the reputation system's not there yet, but there's not to say that they won't add it in the next few days. Because this comes out on the 26th, which
Yeah, what
is
day is that, out of curiosity?
Thursday. 2 weeks from today.
Let me have my calendar, please.
It's 2 weeks from today, Jimmy.
Right.
So it's next. It's not next Thursday, but the Thursday after.
So we basically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
And
9.
my guess is that that is also the day that they are going to be adding, starting up the giveaways, because the giveaways will lead right up to the new content for the anniversary, which is the second.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing that?
So my guess is that the giveaways will start on the 26th. Um,
And then technically,
Either that or
what
they'll
was it,
start on the
February
19th,
3rd, February 4th was
February
when the
2nd,
game started?
2nd.
February 2nd?
Hmm.
Ah, okay. Oh, that's a following week, too.
Hmm.
That's a following. Interesting.
So my guess is that the giveaways will either start on the 19th or the 26th.
Well, they
Let
did
me.
like they did last time. You had like 3 days and I had to go grab everything, just everything else, because they kind of did it short last
Yeah,
time.
we didn't have a lot of time. To even in Tribble, we didn't have a lot of time.
No.
Um,
You
let
had
me
like 2 days,
go.
3 days. So
Let me run
they,
over to Drazana Station and see if anything's over there.
right? Yeah, because
I
that's
don't
what I
think
said. They're putting
anything.
this new reputation system in.
Like I said, the reputation system's not visible yet. So even if nothing's there, it doesn't mean that nothing will be. It
Well,
just
let
means
me
that
ask
it's
you
not there
this.
yet.
If they're going to be putting that in, what do you think the protonite will be? Like an anti-proton ability? A plasma ability? What do you think the clock will do?
Well, they're talking about the Zenkethi being armed with protomatter. Um,
Yeah, to
so
me, I
you're
want to say something like an anti-proton with a critical damage modifier and just everything else and
I
all.
don't know if it'll be anti-proton, but it could be. The last time we had anti-proton, that was the Voth,
Yeah, I was the thought because you had that one that
because
basically
the
disabled the
Iconians used a
shields.
modified Polaron.
Yeah.
I think.
I think I told this. I can't look it on this team because I don't have everything unlocked. In fact, I can get a Ginny Jr. Ginny Jr.'s got everything unlocked. He's even got the temporal stuff now unlocked finally.
Right.
Um,
All right. Let me find Drazana. There we are. Going down to Drazana. My super fast
yeah,
Galaxy
fly like a
class
bat out
ship.
of hell.
I've never seen a Galaxy class ship move as fast as this thing does with the temporal gear on it.
Well, like I
Like,
said, you put a Borg engine on there. That thing's gonna move.
well, this is the temporal engine though. This is faster.
Ah, okay.
I don't want to go too far though, because
Yeah, it was the Dyson Joint Command that had it. Because it had that special gun that got into the sniper thing
yeah.
and it created that
What
shield in
did the
front of you.
Iconians have?
Remember?
I can't remember if the Iconians were proton or if they were something else.
No, there was anti-proton. But it was
Okay.
the Dyson that had it. Dyson Experimental Proton Beam Rifle. Um, then they had this Proton Particle Stabilizer. Dyson engine, Dyson deflector, Dyson blah, shield. There it is.
What did the
Experimental proton weapon.
what did the Iconians use?
The Iconians. Radiant antiproton.
Okay, radiant antiproton. Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, so it was the Dysons that had the proton ability. Yeah, gravimetric
All right,
proton, torpedo launcher. And if you used it against the Voth, it did a lot of damage to them.
all right.
A
Docking
lot.
at Drazana Station. Yeah, shut up.
In fact, this one I should do, put this on, create a second slot to this guy. So while I'm sitting there, well, not because I'm going to be doing the new battles now, so I'm going to have to figure out what they need to kill them
Right,
faster.
exactly.
Because like I said, the set I'm using, ladies and gentlemen, I'm basically using down that or phaser, this, that, all. So when you're dealing with the Undines, the set I'm using basically destroys them as quick as possible and gets them down as quick as possible. But then when I do that second part where the Zoss capital shit comes in, it does take me a few hits to get them down because I don't have the weapon to tear into them as fast as I can do with the Undine, the Undine battle zone. I've got this shit to set up though to deal with the Undine battle zone.
Okay, the console is glowing. However,
You can't click on it.
no, I can click on it. It doesn't have. It still is set up with all of the temporal stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not ready for. It's not ready for this new stuff yet, but it's coming. So
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised. Now, Tuesdays when they usually do their consoles updates, I would not be surprised that PCs and consoles will get an update. But
remember
when they
that
update, it's not going to
Tuesday.
be to this. It's going to actually be to the triple side.
Remember, Tuesday is Tribble Day. That's when they update. That's when they update Tribble patch notes on Tuesdays.
Well, here
Now
it is on
they
Wednesday, which was yesterday. When they
right.
did the big huge update.
But see, that's the thing, though, is that when they start announcing things like that, they start slowly adding things over time. So
Yeah, like
we're
today,
gonna want to
they added that
check.
extra part because Tito was having some kind of bug issue.
So we're gonna want to check pretty much every day.
Right.
And if we see something new is
And that
added, we
means
need to get
tomorrow you might
ourselves.
go on and make sure your turtle is up to date because this one it just got an update of 623. Now you probably got the latest one because you said you was patching.
Yeah, I've got the latest one so far. It doesn't mean that they won't add something tomorrow, because they very easily could.
Yeah, because like I said, people are already recording the dog issues they're having.
But I am here on Drazana Station right now and just sort of chilling. But yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes out for new stuff as we come in here. But tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to explore these areas a little more, kind of see what's out there. Like I said, there's not a lot that has been added so far, but what has been added is really kind of interesting.
Right, and let's go see you tomorrow. You just take care of that tomorrow.
Yep.
Alright, I guess we want to add anything else or we want to wrap up?
Oh, we're
into another 3-hour tour.
Yeah, we're already up past an hour and a half, so
Yeah.
we should definitely wrap it up.
Yeah, because like I said, unfortunately, like I said, I upgraded my internet to that now to include TV service. But for some reason, when I'm streaming, I can't seem to do that 3 hours like I used to do. It gets to 2 hours, and the routers will just shut down for a couple of minutes and then redo
The
itself.
other thing, Jimmy, that we wanna make sure we do is that when we come in here tomorrow, anytime we do Tribble, remember we need to put in the spoiler alert message in our stream.
Exactly. So you'll be seeing, if you see the word spoiler, that's because we're on the Turtle side.
So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up and head on out because we're gonna have some patching to do tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, I don't got anything else. I mean, I'm glad to see. We've been going on 7 years. Yes, there's those naysayers that say the Star Trek line is going to close. I also saw another. I think it was PC Gamer. Another game that's gone like some 16 some years. Entropia Universe is not closed down yet. But another game who's gone 16 years, and the lady was actually on the forum to TC Gamer asking people to help find another game to her grandfather, because the game that he had played basically since he retired is
What
closing
was the
down this
game?
weekend. So I don't think this game's going to close down. There's just too much going
Jimmy,
on.
what was the game in that article?
Um, Salvation something.
Okay.
Hold on. I got it on my thing because I actually shared it when I made the comment saying, yes, I remember that day because, well, now let me slide it over here. Can you slide over? Thank you. Get over here. Yeah, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you saw a picture of my ex-girlfriend who's learning how to do haircuttery stuff. Because she went to haircuttery school, so I'm glad to her. Oh wow, there's my live stream. There's the coffee. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's another thing. This was posted on the forums. Okay, this I can share because it's on my own page. Tomorrow at 4:30 PST.
Pacific time.
In fact, it actually shows they had one at 4:30, one at 5, one at 5:30, and one at 6. But tomorrow, they will be doing a sneak peek of and they're actually going to be on the Triple Tester. They're showing off the new stuff that's everything else and all. You see on the screen there, Aaron. So tomorrow, if you're curious to know and you want a developer's point of view,
Jimmy, make sure you're watching one of those.
yep.
I might not be able to catch it, but you can.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because, well, wait a minute. Pacific Standard Time, they're like, what, 2 hours behind us?
Yeah.
So Thor would be like 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Alright. And I thought to wrap it up by 6. Huh. What I can do is, like I said, I can go ahead and record it and then go back and watch it later, to the extra thing that I know. And I'll share that link with you once I record it.
Right.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the story. No, it's on that other site that Kade, I can't pronounce it. 73-year-old grandpa says goodbye to an Illinois Heathland claim since 1999. Ashron Call. It's the name of the game. I'll send it through Discord, that way you can actually see the story yourself. Send in. There, just sent it. But a man who's been playing massive multiplayer online game, Astron Call, since its launch in 1999, sharing adventure with friends from around the world, that Astron Call is closing the end of the month, and it's time to say goodbye. Well, I don't know about the name of the man in the video. This was uploaded to YouTube based on We Sheet Talk. I know he's coming where he's coming from is a story like this that punctuates the nature of the virtual world that we all play in. No matter how strong the bonds we form, how much time we invest, eventually the service will close down. All we have is left is the memories of that, and if we're lucky, the friends that we need along the way. I met a lot of people, and a lot of them actually remembered me from playing Star Wars Galaxy, as well as nighttime. I played World of Warcraft and a couple of other games. Like Andy is, Aaron. Me and him basically met on playing Entropia Universe, and remembers me. It took me a little while to remember him, but I have met a lot of people from playing other games and like Star Wars Galaxy closed its doors. World of Warcraft still going, and Entropia Universe still going. But there's quite a few other games that have, after a few years, just called it. Because the idea is for the game to keep open, they've got to do microtransaction to basically take to those servers. But if the player base keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, especially with Tate technology and trying to block hackers and the Chinese sellers and this everything else and all, it takes more. Because there was another story, I think it was PC World I'd read it, because they were talking about the Star Citizen, how much it would take to run a Star Citizen server. I am surprised with the game that we have now today. Facebook games are real small. I mean, when it comes to them, they don't take much server space. But other games such as this, they actually mentioned Star Wars Old Republic. They did mention in there about Star Trek Online and a couple of other games where the game came out. It was a good idea, but over time, the server base to run the games and to run everything, do everything, keep the hackers out, keep the cheaters in check, stuff like that, as well as deal with the glitching issue, the bug issues. It takes a lot to run a server. Aaron, you have any ideas or thoughts you want to put in?
No, not really, man.
But I mean, it's kind of sad to see because, like I said, I was out there at the Star Wars Galaxy. I was on my home planet Tatooine when they shut the servers down, and we died there forever. So, and interesting,
Hmm.
Well, I guess that's about it. Let's see. Let me check my page just to make sure I have everything else. Yeah, because I was just going to my page to get that story to you, and I just happened to see how they only posted it to the Star Trek Online group. So to see this other one, you have to be part of the Star Trek Online community group, which is part of the Forum. So if you follow the Forum, it's also part of the Star Trek Online community group. And I just happened to see that thing now. Tomorrow they're going to be doing a live stream, and you'll be able to talk to the developers of the game or tomorrow. Yeah, here's another one. And by the way, brain drain. Yes. See, the 3 years named Brain Drain, or as his real name is Eric, we have pretty much been friends forever. Oh yeah, did you look at the other one I shared with you earlier? The one about the kitty cat and the expanse?
I didn't look at that, no.
You need to look at that. I
Alright.
can't play it because I don't want the copyright to kick in.
Right.
But here's another one that I go to a lot called Massacre Old Player Blah Blah Blah. And they just do a real quick story about how coming January 26th, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's hard to believe that they're coming up on the 7th anniversary, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a little short story. And then they talk about the featured episode with Tony Todd, a little tiny short story. So, it's starting to show up on a lot of my other, like MMO Hut and other places, just everything else that Star Trek Online been around. It's been doing its thing. So that's showing up in other stories. Anything else you want to add in? I'm back looking on my page to see if anything else I can throw in there.
No, man. Like I said, we should probably definitely wrap up here because
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up. In fact, I'm still hungry, so I'm going to make me another, probably a bowl of cereal, probably. I'm going to start the patching, and, just kind of curious. No, I'm not going to be streaming it, because I am so curious to go in there myself, take a look at myself. But I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to send this link to Aaron, because me and Aaron's waiting for the Expanse, which is on the Sci-Fi channel, to come out on February 3rd. But someone kind of did I can show real quick that I don't want the thing to kick in because it's copyright. But it's kind of interesting how they use Kitty Cat to tell the whole story in 5 minutes, basically. So I found this really interesting here. The story of the extent by Kitty Cat terms. All right. Anything else you want to throw in?
Nope.
All right. Well, good night. Live long, prosper. I'll see you out in the stars. I will watch that stream tomorrow. I will have it recorded so I can look at it, and I'll share it with Aaron and see if we can get any more like notes from it, any more ideas from it, just everything else and all. But we'll see you tomorrow. Aaron,
Good night, everybody.
good night, and I am ending the stream. 3, 2, 1, countdown. It didn't go yet. There it goes. Countdown. Good night, everybody.